quorum, so if you want to call us to order, that'd be good.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the April 6th MPO Technical Advisory Committee. My name is Jeff Crick. I'm the MPO Secretary. I will turn it over to Jessica to give us the rules of engagement for today's meeting.
Thank you, Jeff. This is Jessica Mortinger, Transportation Planning Manager. I'm here with Ashley Briers, Transportation Planner, and we'll work alongside Jeff Crick, TAC Chair, to facilitate the meeting proceedings. This meeting is being recorded and broadcast live on the city's YouTube channel and public access cable channel 25. During the meeting, when you are not participating, please mute yourself by clicking on the microphone icon found on the lower left-hand side of the Zoom menu next to the video icon. When you are muted, a red line will appear over the icon. Muting your microphone during the meeting will make it easier for everyone to hear. You just have to remember to unmute if and when you want to speak. In some cases, we may mute or unmute people as needed to minimize distractions during the meeting. Please remember to state your name and title for the benefit of those listening remotely. You can turn your video on and off by clicking the video icon on the menu. For the purpose of this public meeting, keep your video on when you are participating in the meeting. When you are not participating, it's okay to turn your video off. Just remember to turn your video back on when you are participating. If you are participating by phone, you can click *6 to unmute your phone. For those using Zoom, somewhere on your screen you'll see a choice to toggle between speaker and gallery view. Speaker view shows the active speaker. Gallery view tiles all the meeting participants. Individuals who registered in advance to sign up to provide public comment will be called upon by name if you signed up for a specific item. Otherwise, we'll call open at large for comments. When you are called on, please unmute your listening device and state your name before speaking. The chair will then call for in-person public comment for those who are physically present. There's no one currently physically present. Staff will direct them to the podium to speak while following safe social distancing and safety protocols. All motions will need to be stated clearly after a motion is made and seconded. Staff will call each member individually to provide their vote. Staff will then need to announce whether the motion carried in the count of the vote. And I now turn the meeting back over to Jeff Crick, TAC Chair, to do roll call.
All right, Jessica, thank you so much. Jeff Crick, TAC Chair. I think we need to do, Ashley, we need to do a roll call for quorum. Is that correct?
That's correct. So, Chad Voigt.
Aye.
Your ceiling's here. You're here. David Cronin.
Present.
Oh, Brandon Boyd. We do not have from Eudora. Ed Corton. We do not have from Baldwin City. Jeff Crick, yes. Allison Smith.
Here.
Adam Weigel.
Here.
Aaron Quisenberry.
Here.
And Lindley Sanford. She is here from Lecompton, but looks like she just had to answer a phone call. So back to you, Jeff.
Ashley, thank you so much. This leads us to item B on the agenda, which is for public comment. Is anybody like to provide any public comment at this point in the meeting? All right, seeing none, and Jessica just confirmed there's no one in the city commission room. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. We'll just keep on moving there to item C, which is to approve the February 2nd minutes. So be happy to entertain a motion on that item if there's no amendments or adjustments.
Allison Smith, KDOT, move to approve.
Michael, I'll second.
All right, we have a motion on the floor from Allison and a second by Adam. Ashley, can I ask you to call the vote, please?
Ashley Briers, Transportation Planner. Crick.
Aye.
Cronin.
I'm going to abstain since I was not at the meeting.
Okay. Sanford. Lindley. Gonna do, okay. Smith.
Aye.
Weigel. Quiz.
Aye.
And Voigt.
Aye.
All right, so we have 6-0 to 1 abstention. So the motion passes.
Thank you very much. That moves us on to, excuse me, Jeff Crick, Tax Chair. That moves us on to agenda item D1, which is the federal fiscal year 21 through 24 Transportation Improvement Program Amendment number 2. And I will turn this over to Ashley to guide us through.
I forgot to unmute. My name is Ashley Briers, and Lindley just said that she's having issues with her audio. So if you could just communicate with your thumbs, that would be great. So again, my name is Ashley Briers, and I'm a transportation planner. And I'm going to share my screen for today's TIP Amendment 2. Okay. So the Transportation Improvement Program, or the TIP, is the short-range 4-year program of projects that are occurring in Lawrence and Douglas County that are receiving federal or state money or are regionally significant. And we redo this TIP every 2 years, and then we do quarterly amendments. And so this is a time to do a quarterly amendment, number 2. And there are several new projects in the TIP. We have an ITS project doing fiber on South Iowa. And then we have all of our TA projects that were awarded for all of our municipalities in Douglas County, which is very exciting. So we have the TA project for Lecompton, for the sidewalk, for Lawrence shared use path for the Lawrence Loop, for Baldwin City sidewalk, and Eudora sidewalk as well. And then we have just revisions for the US 56 and a different Lawrence Loop project. This TIP amendment was available for public comment for 30 days or 15 days, sorry, and we did not receive any public comments. The amendment also included some minor text revisions just to clarify because some links were broken and things like that. And so we just updated that and they were shown in red in the amendment. Are there any questions about the amendment?
All right, any questions for Ashley on the item? All right, seeing none from TAC, also just put the comment out there. If any member of the public would like to comment or question on the item, please let us know and indicate or raise your hand or however you can let us know that you'd like to comment. I'll just ask Jessica to confirm that there's no digital hands and no one in the room to speak on the item.
Correct. Jessica Mortinger, Transportation Planning Manager. I observe no one.
All right. Jeff Crick, TAC Chair, any other items related to this? Anything at all from the committee? Well, seeing none, I'd be happy to entertain a motion on the item if anyone is so inclined.
This is Adam Michael, TAC member. I'll move approval of federal fiscal year 21 through 24 Transportation Improvement Program TIP Amendment 2.
This is Aaron Quisenberry, second.
I have a motion on the floor by Adam and a second by Quiz on the item. Ashley, would you mind giving us a roll call, please?
Sure. Ashley Briers, Transportation Planner. Crick.
Aye.
Cronin.
Aye.
Sanford. Oh, yeah. Okay, great. Smith.
Aye.
Weigel.
Aye.
Quiz.
Yes.
Voigt.
Aye.
And then Jeff Rhodes has joined us from Eudora.
Aye.
Great. So that passes 7-0.
Jeff Crick, Tag Chair. Ashley, thank you so much for that one. That moves us on to item number D2, which is a discussion item related to the performance measures listed on the page, which looks to be 7, 24, 25, and 26. So I will turn the floor back to Ashley to guide us through that item.
Thank you. Ashley Briers, Transportation Planner. I'm going to share my screen again. All right, so at our meeting in February, we had a few other performance measures, and these are all from Transportation 2040. We have 27 performance measures now, and we're updating them as data is available, rather than waiting until a certain point in time and then doing all of them, because the data is available at various times throughout the year or every couple of years. And so today we're talking about the average travel time to work, which was updated with the 5-year American Community Survey data. And so we did this in 2021, but it's 2019 data. At some point we'll get 2020 data. Not sure when that happens, but in a few months. And then we can do this again to update for the prior year. So the travel time is really very consistent between 2018 and 2019 for each of the municipalities. Then we have the percentage of sensitive lands allocated within public rights of way. And this one was the same. Evidently not much has changed between 2019 and 2021. And we do have a model for this one. And so when we get new data, we just run the model and it pops out consistent data rather than possibly grabbing data from here and data from here. It's all the same like cookie cutter information or GIS information each time. The next one is percentage of single occupancy vehicles. And this is actually the exact same data source as the other travel time one. And again, it's 2019. And you can see the numbers for each of the municipalities. It's gone up a little bit throughout. And all of these do not have targets. And so these are just data updates, but this is just why it's not an action item. This is just for discussion, so you can see the data. Then we have the percentage of mode choice, and we have so much information each year that we actually have had to go to a third page. So the third page of data here is 2019, and you can see the mode choice for each of the jurisdictions. And again, this is the same data source as the other vehicle ones. So those are the performance measure data updates, and we don't need a approval or anything because it's just a discussion. But any questions from anybody regarding the data?
Questions from the committee for Ashley on that data set? All right, seeing none. Jeff Crick, Tag Chair. Is there any comments from the public on this particular item? Jessica, any hands, digital hands? Oh, see.
Yeah, Heidi Briery.
Hi, I'm just curious how the senior transportation data is counted in that last data set. Is it considered carpooling or would it fall under bus? Because that's kind of a gray area. And how do I get that information turned in so it's more accurate? Because I have a feeling it's a little low.
Thank you, Heidi. This is Ashley Briers, Transportation Planner. So this is actually from the American Community Survey, which are surveys that are sent out to random people, and then people respond, and it's however people interpret the question. And so that would be hard. And also it's just a random sampling. And so that's why we do say it's an estimate. And we use the 5-year estimate because then there's more years of data. So hopefully it's more accurate. As far as trying to correct it, I'm not sure. I don't think we could. But I mean, looking at other data sets, that this is our official performance measure, but that's something we could always look at. And Heidi's on our Regional Transit Advisory Committee. So there's that. Jessica, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I'll add to that. Jessica Morton, your Transportation Planning Manager. So I think, this is one national data set we're looking at.
And tracking how trends change over time with a goal, I think, to reduce single occupant vehicle trips that we've identified in Transportation 2040. Although all of the rides of all of our providers for transit and human services transportation, we're tracking ridership from all of your services also as a data metric that we look at when we're working on T2040. And so that data you provide to us and would be reflected in that way. And those two data sets kind of together help us paint the picture of what's happening in our region. And so while this is, in our official performance report, we do have that other data that's more localized that tells us about local information in terms of ridership that hopefully you can use to reflect the conversations with the state and in the community about how people are choosing to get transportation services.
Jeff Crick, TAC Chair. Any other public comments or questions on this item? Any other comments and questions from the TAC Committee on this item too? All right, seeing none and just confirming here, Ashley, you don't need us to do anything. This is just a discussion item for us today.
Correct. Ashley Byers, Transportation Planner, just a discussion item.
All right, thank you very much for bringing that up. Jeff Crick, TAC Chair. Looks like I'll turn this item over to Jessica to give us the Ethics Policy and Open Meetings Act presentation, which is also a discussion item. So Jessica?
Maybe, can you see this PowerPoint?
We can.
Okay, great. So I'm just going to go through this really quickly. This is the same PowerPoint that we share with you annually to remind you of our regulations related to Kansas Open Meeting Act. The open meeting principle is based on the belief that the public has the right to know, the people have the right to know the public's business. And COMA, the state law around open meetings, really says that the informed electorate has the ability to know governmental affairs and transactions of governmental business, and that be open to the public. COMA applies to this body. It's talking about a covered entity and when there is a meeting. So TAC is a body that falls under COMA. That's one of the city advisory. It's considered in that kind of advisory board category, just like city and MPO committees. And so those, because we expend public funds, we are subject to COMA. 3 things must be met for a meeting. We have to be a gathering or majority body of the members. There has to be interactive communication. And so I'll also remind you, we forwarded you an email recently about concerns about not engaging in interactive communications on social media as members to discuss information that should be decision-making and information that should be public as relations to discussions of business of the body. As you know, number 3, we're looking at the 3 conditions that must be present. For the Lawrence Douglas County MPO TAC committee, you have 9 members, and so a quorum, a majority of members, constitutes of 5 people, and iterative communication would be the idea when there is members talking together about things, but also, for example, a member talking to one member and then talking to another and then talking to another, even if they're all separate conversations, is still interactive communications, and that's discussions of business of the body that needs to happen in the public setting at the meeting, not outside of the meeting and before the body, to not violate COMA. So what triggers COMA? Not necessarily, these are some examples, that social gatherings or conferences could be things where you might have a majority membership of the body, but you do not necessarily to discuss business of the body, and or there's not iterative communication if you're just receiving a presentation about something that might be future business of the body. So those are kind of some things that COMA doesn't necessarily apply, but we want to be careful to make sure that any business of the body is in the public realm. Again, I'll remind you about interactive discussions. So this is why a single email generally is sent from staff, and we ask you to respond directly to us. And if we are redistributing information, we will resend it back out in a public format, so you do not create interactive discussions that violate COMA. And again, here, avoid the reply all. Generally, we blind carbon copy you, so you can't easily do that. But that's why we're doing that. So violation of COMA occurs if that communication has a common topic of the body, it involves a majority of the membership, and is intended to reach an agreement before the body should make a discussion and reach an agreement. So again, here's your rules. We're a covered entity, and if there's a meeting, it's considered a majority of the membership. There's interactive communication, and you're discussing the body. We also must provide adequate public notice and be open to the public, which we have accommodated with during COVID in some different ways, both in person and online. And we post all of our meeting notices and agendas at least 7 days in advance. And so you should always get those. If you don't see those from us or a cancellation, you can reach out to us and ask why, but you should see that. Meetings are open to the public and they're held in public spaces. That's why I'm here in City Hall to accept any member who didn't have ability to access this meeting via phone or internet. Again, notice we do that online on our website, also by sending out our mailing notification. That's really consistent for all MPO committees and processes. We create an agenda. Agendas, of course, can be amended later, but they exist, and we make paper copies available to anyone who requests them. We have no reason at this point to have executive sessions, so I think this slide doesn't particularly apply to us. The Attorney General's office and the district attorney investigates potential COMA violations, and really they're looking for you to be in compliance. So there are fines, and we do warn against that, but the goal is just good faith, open access for the public. You can see what the fine kind of actions here and what kind of actions they might require of you if you are found to be in violation of COMA. If you have any questions, you can ask us, although if they're very specific, we can also reach out to the City of Lawrence Attorney's Office for more information, but we wanted to share with you and remind you of this important law.
Jessica, thanks for the refresher and the reminder on that one. Always good to keep tabs on that. Any questions from the committee on that item? Seeing none, also I'll open it up to the public. Any members of the public that would like to comment or provide any questions on that item? Jeff Crick, TAC Chair. I'm not seeing anybody commenting. And Jessica, I will just guess that there's still no one in the room with you there.
Correct, Jessica Mortinger, no one in the City Commission room.
Jeff Crick, TAC Chair. So thank you very much for the reminder on all those very important things there. And so that was just a discussion item too. So I will turn it over to, I believe, Jessica for some quick updates this month.
All right, Jessica Mortinger, Transportation
Planning Manager. We just wanted to share a little bit of information with you about the process. We are underway to having held the kickoff and a second meeting on March 29th around Intelligent Transportation's Architecture Plan update, and that process is underway. We have a few more meetings planned and expect to hopefully bring back to you an updated plan for your consideration this year. We also have been working with Adam Weigel and Lawrence Transit and KU, Aaron Quisenberry with KU on Wheels on the Transit Route Redesign Steering Committee, and we've had the kickoff meeting with the steering committee for that body. And we are well underway to developing a public process and continued work on our route redesign. And so we're excited that work is anticipated to take majority of the year with some different intervals for reporting back. We also have attached the link to the KDOT monthly update. Allison, if you had anything specific to share on that, otherwise we just include updates that are provided from KDOT about programs and projects that are available to project sponsors. we would entertain any questions you may have about any of that work. Otherwise, that's all we have to report back.
Jeff Crick, TAG Chair. I do have one question on the intelligent transportation architecture. Just to clarify, is that only within the city limits of Lawrence, or does that have a broader regional spectrum to it?
Jessica Mortinger, Transportation Planning Manager, that we're looking at the county. So we have participation from the Kansas Turnpike Authority, the Kansas Department of Transportation, even KC Scout in the region, from the Mid-America Regional Council. We are participating with Chad Voigt from the county, and other jurisdictions were invited to participate as appropriate as ITS applies to them. So we're talking about signal coordination, we're talking about emergency notification, you're talking about parking technology, we're talking about transit technology. It's basically any of the things, the technology things that help make transportation work. In the future, that could be autonomous vehicles, that could be a lot of things. And so that plan looks at identifying the strategies and programs in the region that we need to have in the short term and long term on our playlist, so we can make sure that all the investments we're making in that can be coordinated.
Excellent, thank you. Jeff Crick, TAG Chair. Any other questions from the committee on that item? Or excuse me, on any of the quick update items? Not seeing any member of the public that would like to comment on any of the quick update items. And I'm not seeing any, and I'm pretty sure Jessica's still in the room without anybody there. So, okay. Well, with that is all the updates on our items there. Does Jeff Crick, TAG Chair, is there anybody have any other business to bring before the body today? All right, seeing none. With that, I will just kind of bring a note that our next meeting is scheduled for May 4th or another date set by the TAC. So we will keep everybody, Jessica and Ashley will keep everybody informed on those meeting dates going forward. And so I believe with that, that is the end of our agenda today, unless I've missed some. So I'm getting affirmatives there. So thank you all for joining us today. It was great to see you all. Hopefully we'll be in person very soon and we can catch up. But thanks to Jessica and Ashley for running the meeting, and also to Kurt for getting us on the air. With that, we will see you all on May 4th, if not a little later. So take care, everybody.